Vlogmas day 5. Sorry, just thought someone was going to pull out in front of me then. Yes, the trouble with daily vlogging is that there's nowhere to hide. You can't put it off. You can't go, I'm not going to vlog today because I'm not in the best frame of mind. Well, you could, but when I commit to doing something like Vlogmas, I like to do it every day. So, and I really like to try and keep everything positive on here and good and upbeat, and it's kind of hard when shit things are happening, you know. So I've decided that I'm not going to talk about the car today at all. I've had a sleepless night over it. I'm beyond frustrated and no good will come from it. So as you can see, I'm in Will's car again today, and excuse me, I'm taking myself off to a local town where there's only a couple of charity shops, but I quite enjoy going shopping there, so I'm going to have a quick look around those and then go back home, just so I don't get cabin thievery. I've arranged to meet my best friend for drinks this evening, just in Wetherspoons in town, because I need a shoulder to cry on and to let off a bit of steam. And yeah, that's what I'm doing this evening. And I really wanted to stay in bed this morning. I felt like staying in bed and telling the world to do one, to be honest. But I know inside myself that if I can force myself out of bed, put on my makeup, get dressed, you just feel so much better, don't you? There's no point wallowing in self-pity. God, imagine all the terrible things happening to people in this world. So, you know, my problems are really quite minimal compared with that. Anyway, I'm off to the charity shops. Oh, I know what I was going to talk to you about. I did my Multiple Sclerosis Society donation this morning. You'll have seen that in yesterday's video. I just tacked the photos of the videos onto the end. Sorry, the screenshots of the donation onto the end of that. And I read up a little bit more about the charity. As I said, I do have personal experience, or second-hand personal experience of multiple sclerosis, because friends of ours that an old friend of ours who was the witness at our wedding actually, his wife died of MS a few years ago. She had it particularly badly and had people can live with it for years and years and years, but Heather had it for about 5 or 6 years I think, and maybe a little bit longer than that before she died. She went downhill really quite rapidly. But the MS Society does everything you'd expect. MS is a disease that is incurable effectively, and it's degenerative, so you just get worse and worse and worse. Lose your movement, your speech. It's a cruel disease, but your mind is fine. But what I was particularly interested in, because I know that the difficulties our friend went through with his wife, obviously, but as a carer, the Multiple Sclerosis Society does quite a lot of work and offers quite a lot of support to people who are caring for people with MS. So I really liked that aspect of it. So definitely a worthwhile charity to donate to. I'm pleased that one came up. The main body of today's video is going to be the Christmas Q&A, because I'm not doing anything very exciting today, so I thought it would be a good day to do that. So probably what you see next will be that. You can tell it's a cold day because both of my cats are here. One's on that sofa and Reg is on that one over there. Such a lovely thing happened this morning. I had a parcel delivered before I went out this morning. I didn't open it till I got back. And it was a complete surprise. It was a beautiful Christmas card. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And this lovely candle. It's a woodwick candle. I love these candles. This is, they have this long wooden wick and you light them and they flicker and crackle just like a real fire. They're beautiful. I've only ever had one before. And I was so taken with it that, look, I keep the jar up here. Even though it's completely empty and doesn't have the candle in it anymore, I just thought it was such a beautiful jar that I wanted to keep it. And this is from one of my lovely subscribers, Sam. She also has a YouTube channel called Reselling Polly. I will link her in the description box below. and I won't read it out to you, but she sent me such a really lovely message saying that I'd inspired her to become a reseller. She's doing really well with her reselling now as well, and saying that she knows I'm on a candle buying ban, but she hopes Ashley won't mind, as she sent it as a present. It's just, honestly, it was lovely. It brought tears to my eyes, it really did. It was just such a nice thing to do and such a lovely surprise. So thank you, Sam. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm going to light that when I'm next in for the evening, which isn't until Thursday, I don't think. I'm going to sit and really enjoy that candle. And yeah, thank you. It's really lovely. I'm very touched, honestly, I really am. Well, it's a miserable old afternoon. It's about 3:15, I think. And I'm sitting here with my Christmas mug for my cup of tea and my Christmas Q&A. All the questions that you guys asked me about Christmas. And I'm going to attempt to get through them all. I've got quite a lot. I've got 1, 2, 3 and a bit pages. I'm quite aware that I haven't talked very much about Christmas at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure I haven't talked about Christmas at all. And I feel like really for this Q&A to have a nice Christmassy background for you with my Christmas tree. But I appear to be the only person in the whole world with an Instagram account who doesn't have any Christmas decorations up yet. I think it's a little bit early, the beginning of December. So yeah, my decorations will go up next weekend. Fine for everybody who wants to have put their Christmas tree up already, that's fine. I'm not saying anybody's wrong, but just for me, I prefer to wait till a little bit nearer or a little bit further into December. So yeah, and I know I haven't talked about Christmas, but this is the time when we're gonna start talking about Christmas. So Mystic Pizza 02 asked me, do you go to church over Christmas? No, I don't. I take my dad to church. He likes to go to church. That's about as close as I get to a church at Christmas. I have been in the past, but it's not something I do or we do. In fact, the last time we were going to go to church, it was when we lived in a village, in the house before this one. Just notice you can see the ring light in the, my light in the, God, I can't speak. Just notice you can see my ring light reflection in the window behind me, so apologies for that, but it was too dark to film without it. I don't know if it's the time of day or just the rubbish weather, but yeah, anyway, yeah, the closest I got to going to church was trying to take William when he was about 8 in the village we previously lived in the village church, to the crib service or whatever they call it, on Christmas Eve, for the sort of family service type of thing, and the church was absolutely packed to the rafters and we couldn't even get in, so we went home and had a glass of sherry instead. Not William, didn't give him a glass of sherry, but yeah, that's the closest I've got to church over Christmas, or church at all in the last few years, other than my christening, which I will link the video up here if you haven't seen it. It's up here actually, isn't it? But yeah, if you haven't seen it, feel that. There's another story. Mr. Pizza also asked, do you visit any Christmas markets in your area? Not specifically. Christmas markets are quite a thing now in the UK, aren't they? Someone was saying it in the comments yesterday that I replied to, I think. Obviously went to Bath Christmas Market last week, which isn't really in my local area, but we really enjoyed that. And there is one in Exeter. I don't think we're going to get, actually I might get to that one this year, because I'm going to with Kirsten, to meet Kirsten in Exeter next week, so it may be still on then. But it's Mystic Pizza's third question was turkey or roast beef, question mark. I like both. I don't know which we're having for Christmas this year. It's usually turkey, it might be beef this year, but probably my preference would be roast beef if I was picking, but yeah, both are good. And finally she or he asked, sorry, I'm guessing it's a she, what Christmas drinks do you like? I'm generally a drinker of gin and tonic. I like a gin and tonic. That's not really a Christmas drink, is it? Christmas drinks, specific Christmas drinks. Like a glass of champagne, is that Christmassy? But I don't limit that to Christmas. Any excuse for champagne or Prosecco. I don't think there's any specific drinks that I drink at Christmas that I don't drink at other times of year. Winter drinks, I do like a whiskey mac. I hate whiskey, oddly, but whiskey mac, which is whiskey and Stone's ginger wine, that's just such a lovely warming winter drink. when you've come in from a cold walk or something. That's a really nice drink, but I only really ever have maybe one of those a year or two or something, and it's not necessarily at Christmas. Catherine Graham asks, what is your favourite Christmas memory? I don't have a specific one, Catherine, but I think as a child the feeling is sort of a feeling more than a memory. That, do you remember when you wake up on Christmas morning, and I used to put my feet down to the bottom of the bed and wiggle them about, and I could feel the sack of presents and hear the crackling of the wrapping paper, and it was just that feeling of excitement that Father Christmas had been and the presents were there, and oh, that feeling just embodied Christmas for me. And you never get back that magical feeling you have about Christmas that you have as a child, do you? Until you have your own children, and then it's just for such a short time. So next up, grandchildren, I guess, for that. Dee Rogerson asks, do you sneak peek at presents under the tree? No, I've never been a sneak peeker at all. I used to have a little feel as a child, I think, but never been one for wanting to know what I've got in advance. I'm quite happy to wait until the big day. Pamela Gale asked, do you like Christmas cake, mince pies, Christmas pudding? I don't like Christmas cake, I don't like Christmas pudding, although I will eat a tiny bit if forced. But I do like mince pies. I had my first mince pie at the weekend, I think I mentioned it, of the year, and really enjoyed that. Christmas pie and clotted cream, you can't beat that, can you? Sorry, mince pie and clotted Christmas pie, what am I talking about? But no, I'm not a lover of Christmas cake. I'm not a lover of cake in general, really. But no, Christmas cake I'm not bothered about, and Christmas pudding you can keep. I don't think we'll be having a Christmas pudding this year. And Pamela also asked, do we have a special meal on Christmas Eve? Traditionally, with my family, we generally have a joint of ham on Christmas Eve, cooked ham with sometimes like ratatouille and either sautéed potatoes or lyonnaise potatoes, something like that. But the accompaniments change over the years, but it's almost always a cooked joint of ham. This year, however, I think it might be something different. So watch this space. I'll talk more about that in another video. Jill Davidson asked, what's your favourite thing about Christmas and why? My favourite thing about Christmas over the last few years has been that period of days when Christmas Day and Boxing Day are over, before you get into the celebration of New Year, that sort of space of nothingness, if you like. It's just about the only time of the year that Ashley and I spend at home without feeling the need to be doing any work or doing anything. I can't explain it other than saying that, really. I feel like Christmas, I was saying this to my mum the other day, is these days it's so hyped and there's so much anticipation for so long that the actual Christmas Day I always feel is a bit of an anticlimax. I don't massively enjoy Christmas Day itself, just for that reason. I think there's so much hype, so much expectation, then it comes and it's a bit like, is that it? Is that what it's all been about? So yeah, that actual period, that period between Christmas and New Year, when we don't work and I don't feel like I should be working, and it's just a relaxed time with no expectation or anything. I really enjoy that every year. Heather asks, she would love to see some of my childhood Christmas photos or traditions. Are there any traditions that you carry on even now? I will try and dig some. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to. Yeah, I will, because I'm going to my mum's the week after next. So I will be able to dig out some Christmas childhood photos then, Heather. I'm also planning to do a talk during Vlogmas a little bit more about Christmas, my Christmases as a child. So I'll answer that a bit more fully then. And are there any traditions that we carry on with even now? We've always, ever since I can remember, opened our presents. Not that this is a particular tradition, I don't think, but we open our presents late morning. before we have lunch, and that's something that I've always done. I've never had a Christmas when we haven't done that, apart from one Christmas when I was working away and I didn't open any presents at all. So I guess that's sort of a tradition. Ginger Witch asked me, Christmas present in childhood that I remember the most. I think I answered this question last year in Vlogmas, or certainly at some point, maybe it was the year before. I remember getting a pair of blue, red and white roller boots when roller boots had just become a thing rather than roller skates, and they were just the best present ever. I loved those roller boots. I wish I'd kept them. I really do. I had some red and gold sparkly laces in them, and I can picture them now. I loved them. Such a great Christmas present. Jules Verne asked me, where are you going to spend this Christmas this year? We're spending Christmas at home this year, just the three of us, Ashley, me and William. Our first Christmas ever by ourselves. Again, I will talk a bit more about that in another video. And she also asked, will the feast be a traditional one? Honestly, don't know yet. No plans as to what we're going to eat. I expect it will be a roast dinner of some description. That is probably what we'll have, but what exactly it will be is still up for debate. Caroline D asked, Walker's Brussels sprout crisps, yes or no? And I talked about these in a vlog recently. I got some in Tesco's after Caroline asked the question, and I've tried them, and I can confirm it is a very firm yes for Walker's Brussels sprout crisps for me. I like them. I think they're good. Discombobulated Mum asks question, have you ever had a Christmas Day disaster, i.e. unable to cook the turkey as the oven broke, etc.? I don't remember a specific disaster. The closest I can think of to a disaster or something that really upset me, actually, yes, I can. The first Christmas we lived in this house, I got up early on Christmas morning and I did some washing up from the night before, as I do, while Ashley stayed in bed. And then he got up. Ashley always cooks the Christmas dinner, by the way, I should say. Ashley got up and I had thrown away, in error, some beef fat from a joint that he cooked the night before, that he was wanted to use to cook the roast potatoes in, some sort of fat anyway, and he was absolutely livid with me, and shamefully for him, he couldn't get over it all day, and he completely ruined Christmas Day. Absolutely completely ruined it. He was vile to me all day. There's a nice story. So yeah, that was a pretty disastrous Christmas. That is the story that will always remind me of the first Christmas in this house. He does admit that he went completely over the top, by the way. He has admitted that since then. Gloria asks me, what family traditions do you have and had when living with your parents? What traditions does William feel you have as a family and will continue? I can't ask William because he's not here, obviously. But I will, when he gets home, perhaps I'll try and remember to ask him in a couple of weeks' time. I don't really feel like we have that many traditions around Christmas. Christmases are always very the same. We always do the same things at the same time, but opening presents, eating food, you know, we don't do anything particularly special or different or unusual, so I'm struggling to answer that one with anything interesting, really. Sorry about that. Julie asks, Julie Lucas asks, shall you eat and drink whatever you like over Christmas week? Yeah, I seem to be doing that quite successfully already. Perhaps the whole of December, Julie, so that's a firm yes. Sheila asks, what was your best Christmas present ever as a child? I've already answered that one, the roller boots. DME asks, do you usually have a roast turkey Christmas dinner on the 25th, or do you do something different? Yes, up till this year we have always had a roast turkey, yes. One of my favourite Christmas films, I love The Holiday with Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet. I think that's a really lovely quintessential Christmas feel-good film, and Love Actually is probably my other one. I don't really like the American comedy ones. They just don't float my boat at all, which seems to be the vast majority of Christmas movies, really. Oh, Miracle on 34th Street as well is lovely. Dear me also asked funniest Christmas memory. I've racked my brains over this one. I don't really have a funny Christmas memory. Sorry, can't answer that one. Saz Guest asks, name one Christmas tradition from your childhood. Again, you see, I'm really difficult on the. It's difficult for me. I don't really feel like we had Christmas traditions as such. One that you've introduced since you had William. Again, can't really think of one particular. Actually, yes, I do. I can think of one since I've had William. And it's a sort of pre-Christmas thing that we have done lots of years. Not for the last couple of years, but lots of years. We went to the aquarium in Plymouth just after William broke up from school. We would do it a couple of days after the end of term, and it's nothing Christmassy about this at all, is there? But for some reason in the Christmas holidays we used to go to Plymouth Aquarium, which is an amazing aquarium, indoor aquarium, and just, are all aquariums indoor? Is that a stupid thing to say? I think they probably are. And yeah, we just absolutely loved that, going to that, and then we would go out for a Mexican lunch at a Mexican restaurant in Plymouth, and we did that lots of years, and that became sort of a pre-Christmas thing, and we have decided that we're going to do that again this year after not having done it for about 5 years. So that will be fun when Will gets home from school. We're looking forward to doing that. So yeah, do you know what? I've done 16 minutes of this, so I am going to leave the rest of the questions, because there's quite a few more still to answer, until maybe tomorrow or maybe another day. So yeah, so I don't want to make this too long, so let's do that. Okay. I'm absolutely loving doing this charity, the donations to charity every day. Really enjoying it, getting a lot out of it, and the feeling of something positive going on. And also, do you know what? I've just had a comment left on a video, yesterday's, I think. Yes, yesterday's video, saying, which would have been the day before yesterday for you when you're watching this. Complicated, yes, no it won't, it will have been yesterday's video. Oh god, I'm confused. But I've had a comment left by a lady called Jojo saying thank you for donating to the MS charity, and that her daughter was diagnosed with it last year at age 14, and that has just really brought home to me that I'm sitting here working myself, I have sat here for the last 24 hours working myself up into this state about a bloody car that doesn't work. And you know, there's a lot worse things in the world, aren't there? And that's been that's really helped me put things into perspective and given me a kick up the arse to stop feeling so bloody sorry for myself. So thank you for that, Jojo, and the very best of luck to your daughter. Hope things go as well as they can for her. Honestly, you people are bringing me to tears today. You really are. I'm just going through comments and emails, and I've got another lovely comment from Lady Anna's Cottage saying, I won't read you the whole thing, but she says, you're a very rare gem. You are kind, genuine and simply lovely. You probably don't realise it, but you change people's lives. Thank you for changing mine. And that just makes me well up, that. It's just me talking about my life on the internet, and it's just such a powerful medium of communication, isn't it? I'm so glad that I was born in, or not born, but I lived in a time where this amazing, I think when you've lived in a time without the internet, it feels even more powerful to you that you can communicate and touch people's lives who you've never met in such a personal way. I think it's just very powerful, very powerful. Very thought-provoking afternoon I'm having here. Okay, I need to finish off this vlog, otherwise it's going to be too long. Time to choose today's charity, and I'll show you what I got in the advent calendars today. Oh, this is a nice one. It's Cancer Support Yorkshire, so it's a local cancer charity for Yorkshire. Sorry, I know you couldn't see that. And it was suggested by @JJDora on Instagram. I am going to look them up now, and I will be back and tell you a little bit about them. Okay, so Cancer Support Yorkshire have 3 dedicated centres, one in Bradford, one in Skipton and one in Wakefield, and they are basically there to provide help for anyone affected by a cancer diagnosis. So not only a patient, if you're a family member or a carer, they are there to help. They provide guidance and support on everything you need, from transport to welfare rights and finances. That's a really important thing, isn't it? When you're diagnosed with something as life-threatening as cancer, I think quite often the financial problems that entails can be a real burden for people as well. And I think it's not something that you immediately think about, but definitely you know, something that does need to be thought about. And they also offer counselling, complementary therapies and a range of classes and groups. We also signpost you to relevant agencies and groups, and we're here for everyone affected by cancer, and we offer confidential advice and support for free. So that's really nice. Okay, to save keeping you any longer, I'm going to do the donation and the number generator and put the screenshots in like I did yesterday. But in the meantime, I am going to sign off. Thank you very much for watching today, and I will see you in the morning. Bye.